What's going on, people? Welcome to We Are Humans First. My name's Timmy Tyler, and I promise the intros will get better, the videos will get better as well, innit? But talking in front of a camera is different. Do you know what I mean? So bear with me. This is my first one, but yeah, it'll get much better in it as time goes on. But yeah, my motivation behind We Are Humans First, and it's really simple. Obviously, I'm a massive sports fan. I'm a massive sports junkie, I would say, and I feel like the way the way the media treat and talk about and portray and protect black professionals, black sporting athletes, black sporting professionals, especially footballers, I don't like it. It makes me very uncomfortable, and I think for years I've been like a silent observer. And we talk about it in group chats, and we talk about it on social media, but we don't shout. And I'm at a place now where I'm ready to shout, because the status quo ain't gonna change if we're silent. And the people who continue to disrespect and talk about footballers in a way which is disingenuous to who they are as individuals, and disrespectful to them as human beings, right? No, I'm done being silent. And I say that because even up to last week, like I said, I'm still navigating this sports media space, and I wrote an article on Khadija Shaw. Now, prior to writing that article, I've written a few articles, and I've been freelancing for I think they call themselves the go-to football journalists online for football. So they're pretty big, do you know what I mean? And I've been freelancing for them for a while, and I've written a few articles. And every time I write an article for them, they vet it and then they post it. And every time I've written an article, they post it. So I know it's not about quality. I know I'm cold in it. I know you can't school me on sports knowledge, especially football. If I do my research on something and I put something on paper, I know it's going to be good. So I'm not worried about the quality of the work. And they can verify that too, innit? Because they've reposted everything that I've written up till last week. And so last week I wrote an article on Khadija Shaw. And in this article I spoke about, racism and sexism, and obviously celebrating a very underrepresented minority in football, which is the black woman, giving her flowers, but also calling out, the things that are wrong with football, racism, sexism, and trying to make up, trying to raise awareness to the injustices that black people, especially athletes and footballers, continue to face in society, especially in a system which, most people know, is structurally racist from top to bottom. And I sent it over to this company, this publication company online, and they ignored it initially. And then I sent them another email because I wasn't sure if they got it. And then they said that, yeah, we'll have a look at the article. And they chose to ignore it again. And obviously, till they haven't got back to me as to why they're not reposting it, why they're not putting it on their page. But the thing is, for me, it just augments everything that I already know about how the media works in sport, and how black people are sort of seen and treated. Because if you go on their page and their website, they talk about athletes like Antoine Semenyo or Bournemouth, who's having a really good season, or Miles Lewis-Skelly, Ethan Nwaneri for Arsenal, Amad Diallo before he got injured when he's in form. They talk about black footballers, and they give them their flowers and they celebrate them when things are going well. And that's okay. But when it's time to be an actual ally, and when it's time to talk about problems that actually affect black footballers as human beings, they're silent to it. And this is what continues to happen throughout most of mainstream media. They're very okay with celebrating black athletes, and they're very okay with talking about positive things in football as it relates to how they're doing on the pitch and their performances. But the minute it comes to being an actual ally and being someone who is calls out racism, calls out injustices, calls out unfair criticism, they go silent, bro. They go hiding. And this is what I'm saying about allies. Allies in football are few and far between, innit? And a lot of the mainstream media don't want to talk about things that make them feel uncomfortable because they're scared of the reaction to it. And this is what I don't like, because if you're so comfortable talking about giving these athletes their flowers, innit, when it's good, when it's time to actually stand for them, when these injustices that continue to affect them on a day-to-day basis happen, and you go silent, it's why? I don't get it. For me, I do get it. I'm chatting shit. I do get it. I know exactly why, but I no longer want to be a part of the silence in it. And for me, athletes around the world, black athletes especially, black footballers especially, they need to have places and platforms here where they one day feel respected, one day feel protected as well. Like, obviously they can give them their flowers, yeah, we can criticize them about football whenever, like, if and when necessary. But at the same time, these people are human beings, bro. And if you saw these people as more than just footballers, yeah, then you would want to call out racism. You would want to stand up here for sexism. You would want to stand up for these injustices. But the truth of the matter is, yeah, most of football, especially the mainstream media, don't see these athletes as anything other than footballers. Which is why when they step out of the football box and they show personality and they, you know, they are who they are, they get criticized for it. They get called out for it. And they get spoken to as if, you know, they should be grateful for the position that they're in, that they should be more humble, they should be more, you know, accepting of, like, the fact that, you know, like, they make a good amount of money or live a good life. And I'm sick and tired of how the media treat these athletes and professionals, bro. And it goes even further than the media, and how footballers are being treated by their own teammates, by their own managers, by ex-players, like by talk show hosts, by talk sport hosts. Like, it goes way further than, like, just football. But for me, it's about actually calling out what's right and what's wrong here, and protecting these players, bro. Because I'm sick and tired of seeing people who look like me getting treated the type of way here because of how they look. Because you tell black footballers and you tell black people in general, oh, you got to work twice as hard to get half as much in it. And that's a common fact in it. But the fact that these players still do what they're told and what they're asked, and still it's not enough in it, and still it's not enough for people. Still people have to go for the color of their skin, yeah, to criticize them, and nobody is there to protect them. And I say nobody, like, I don't mean nobody, like, because, you know, I think now we're in a place, especially like in sports media and especially like in football, where, like, as a community, where, like, we see it and we talk about it and we do call it out, but we need more spaces like that. And I'm not trying to be a number of, or I'm not trying to be someone who, like, just don't talk about it. I'm not okay with how they treat athletes. I'm not okay with how they treat black footballers. Like, it don't make sense to me. And I know they only do it for a certain reason, innit? Because they don't fit the box of the footballers that they want them to be. They want them to be humble and subservient and happy that there's footballers. Because the minute you see an athlete that's black being themselves, they don't like it. And we've seen it with Rashford, and we'll get on to Rashford. We've seen it with Balotelli. We've seen it with Pogba. We've seen it now. We're starting to see it now with how the media are talking about Miles Lewis-Kelly. And the truth of the matter is, yeah, we're gonna see it with Ethan Nwaneri when he steps out of the box. We're gonna see it with Kobe Mainoo when he steps out of the box. Because they tried to, like, box Saka into that box as well, and Saka has obviously managed to, like, navigate that space successfully. But not every black athlete, yeah, is afforded that luxury. Not every black athlete is protected in that way. And I am no longer, like, comfortable just sitting and allowing black athletes to be criticised, ridiculed, disrespected, yeah, for the mere fact that they're black. And these big corporations that don't want to back it as well, like, that's cool. You know, we can't choose how we watch football, innit? Do you know what I mean? Like, the people that control football, but we can choose how we put back into football, and we can choose how we consume media. And we're not gonna just accept how the media treats footballers now. And the people that are silent, yeah, that only want to talk about black footballers when it's good, innit? We see you too, innit? Like, you keep doing your thing, innit? Like, but there has to come a point in time where, like, as a community, we come together and we're like, this ain't right. If that point in time never comes for everyone, innit, it's come for me, innit? So I am committed to showing that black footballers, especially, like, black footballers, they're more than just athletes, bro. Like, before they're anything, they're human beings. They're children, they're parents. You know, some of them are sons, some of them are daughters, like, but before anything, yeah, they're human beings. And we don't get to see them as human beings, yeah, because the media don't allow us to, innit? And so we only ever see them as commodities. And as soon as we're done with them, we discard them. And that's not how it should be, innit? So I'm committed to making that change. I'm going to start shouting, innit? Because, bro, if you don't shout, yeah, nothing's going to get done, innit? And you know what? It might not get done in one day. It might not get done in 1 year. It might not even get done in my generation. But what I know for sure is that I'm not going to sit around here and just allow it to continue to happen, innit? Because Black Lives Matter in football, bro. And whether or not people want to accept it or believe it, yeah, like, that's what I'm going to start championing. And that's my fight. So, yeah, listen. We are humans first, innit? 2025, innit? It's going to be a big year. I promise you these videos will get better. This talking in front of the camera thing, innit? It is what it is, innit? But stay locked in it, stay tuned in it, man. We're up to something this year.